Hi, I'm Braxton Spain, Vice President of Foretravel Motorcoach. Today I'm excited to walk you through some of the key features that make our coaches truly exceptional. Whether you're new to the Foretravel family or a returning owner, this video will give you a clear overview of what to expect at your delivery experience. We'll be highlighting some of the important systems, components, and walkthrough items we'll cover at the time of your delivery, ensuring you're fully confident and comfortable with your new coach before hitting the road. In 2026, we introduced something we're very proud of here at Foretravel. It's the all-new redesigned dash, where innovation meets driver comfort. We've streamlined the layout for intuitive control, integrated smart digital displays for real-time diagnostics, and enhanced visibility with modern low-glare interfaces. Every element is engineered for ease, safety, efficiency, helping drivers stay focused, confident, and connected to the road. It's not just a dashboard, it's your command center for the journey ahead. So what we're looking at right now is our digital glass dash. This is on the 2026 year model coaches. We did redesign the dash with extra monitors, which we'll get to shortly. But what I wanted to point out on this glass dash is it's all your traditional things like fuel, depth, battery, odometer, trip, air tanks, all your traditional values. But one thing that's really neat is that we do have the BDC controller, and in the bottom right hand of the screen we can control brightness, adaptive cruise, you can go into settings, your trip meter, your tire pressures, your info screen, steering effort, which 5 is the tightest setting, 1 is the lowest setting. And then you can go into suspension and you can put it into travel mode, auto level, high ride, low ride. For instance, if I wanted to auto level this coach, I could click auto level and it is auto leveling currently on air. This coach also has a jack leveling system that is separate than the air leveling. So here we have the driver's console, and on the driver's console is a couple of things to touch on. We have the Allison transmission shift panel. We have your tele and tilt functions for your steering wheels. We have the performance choice switch. We have the window switch. It's for the electric slider window at the driver area. And you have your tag dump. You have your parking brake and the VDC controller. The VDC controller is what controls the glass dash, steering effort, suspension, information center, the brightness, the leveling system, and basically it's your main information hub on your glass dash. It does have an ATC switch on it. It has a brightness switch for the glass dash, a pages button which throws the main rear camera right dead center of your glass dash. You have your map light switch, and then your steering effort switch, which is easily touched and reachable for while you're driving on the fly to adjust your steering effort. The window switch, I'll show you for example, runs this electric slider window. So at the dash area, we have 3 monitors. This is the left-hand screen that was added in the 26-year model. We have a right-hand screen as well that we'll go over. But on this left-hand screen, you'll see that we have a big camera view, and we have the climate where you can control your dash AC. You have your shades for day and night, and you can select the passenger window, the windshield area, or the driver window and control your day and night shades. You have your controls for your mirrors, your tilt and tele for your steering wheel, your pedals which can move in and out for comfort, your accent lights, and your memory. On the 26-year model we do have a memory feature that'll set this this whole cockpit to remember how your preferred driving comfortability is. And that way when you get in, you can click that and you automatically get reset to how you like to drive the coach. On the cameras, as you can see, I have the 360 camera up on this screen currently, but if you prefer to drive with the left camera on, you can do that, or you can throw the right camera on here. A lot of people prefer to go left camera here, the 360 camera in the middle glass dash, and then the right camera on the right screen. As we progress down this screen, we have the leveling system, which you can put into travel mode, auto level. You can run your jacks. You can manually run your jacks, high ride and low ride. And then on the light function, you have your driver map light, passenger map light, entry light, docking lights. You have your interior master and exterior master. On the utility screen, you can turn your generator on and off. You can control the house temperature of your roof ACs. You can turn it from cool to heat on the HVAC system for the house, lock your doors, or you can run your slide step cover right here for the passenger area. You also have your settings screen, which you can go in and adjust certain settings. As we move to the right hand screen, you have a lot of the same functionality. The only difference on this screen is you have your audio functions, which you can connect your phone for Bluetooth, or you can go to different sources, Sirius, regular radio, or a USB file. You still have your climate. You also add the phone in here, so that way you can connect your phone for Bluetooth to talk hands-free. You have your controls for your mirrors, your pedals, your accent lights, your cameras, your memory feature. Your GPS is also going to be on this right-hand screen to plot your courses. You can go back to the camera screen, and just like the left side, you can change that to the left mirror, 360 camera, or right mirror. You also maintain on this screen your leveling features, your lights, utility, shades, and settings. In this same area, we also have our phone charger for driving. You have a USB plug and a Type-C. And you have your other switches located at the bottom of this panel. You have your boost switch, which this coach auto boost, which combines your house batteries with your engine batteries upon cranking. Your auto headlights, your manual headlight switch, your auxiliary lights, docking lights, locking of the door and bay doors, generator start and stop switch, and then the passenger stepwell cover. We leave a blank just in case you want to add another switch for something else. So on the steering wheel, we have 3 pods. We have your flashers for your marker lights, for your headlights. We have your cruise control, start, stop, set, reset, on, off. You have your engine brake system here that you can turn on and go to low, medium, or high. You have your driver day shade, your windshield night shade, and then you can answer your phone by pressing this button here. You have your windshield wipers and the high-low feature and the sprayer all conveniently locating on the steering wheel. On the bottom side of the steering wheel, you have your volume controls, your navigation quick resource, your sources button for your radio, your pedal switch that make your pedals move in and out for comfortability, and then your seek for your radio. So that is what our steering wheel encompasses. One thing we didn't hit on is that we have the secondary controls here for the dash AC. So dead center of the coach in the hallway, we have our Silverleaf screen. This is our main control system for the coach. This is what we call the home screen. And what you'll see there is your waste tank, your fresh tank, your dash AC controls, your batteries, house and chassis. Shows what's going on in our power systems, that we're connected to the shoreline and currently have proper voltages coming into the motor coach. You got your block heater, your door unlock and lock, your auto gen where you can enable and disable it, and you can have it enabled or disabled for batteries or your climate depending on how you need to use your auto gen system, and your brightness display. As we run through these buttons here, you go to AC power and you can look at exactly what's going on. Currently we're in pass-through on the inverters and on shoreline. You have your DC power, shows what the chargers are doing, what the inverters are doing. You have your generator switch, which here you can start and stop the generator, and you can also look at certain activity flags and triggers that you would need for your auto-gen system. Like I said, you can have your living room, kitchen, or bedroom roof AC as a trigger for the auto-gen system, or just your batteries. You have your generator options and your auto generator options in the bottom of the screen. You have your main settings screen, which you can go through here and customize your logo, your clock, your options for your surge guard, your configurations. But mainly, there's a lot of things in here that we set up straight from the factory that you will not have to change. Your autofill configuration, for instance, we set at a start level of 10% and a stop level of 90%. So if you are running this in autofill, then as soon as you drop your tank below 10%, it will come on. As long as your shoreline reel or your hose reel is at the hose bib and the water's on, it will fill to 90% and shut off. You got your climate screen where you have your aqua hot button. If I click on that, it takes you to your options. You have your engine heat, your burner, and your AC heat. On all presidential realms, you have one electric element and two that are accessible. That heats your water without having to run diesel. If you're wanting to run more power to the aqua hot for multiple showers, I suggest running your burner. The engine side of the aqua hot would be in the scenario that you are driving and you want to have hot water when you get to where you're going. You can turn on and enable the engine side of the aqua hot, and that way when you get there you have instant hot water. The water screen shows your fresh tank and your waste tank, your levels. This is where you would come if you want to dump your black tank. You can dump that right here, or you can put it in auto mode. And if you were in auto mode, that setting would automatically dump as long as you have your hose out and it hits 90%. The autofill is what we've kind of already talked about. It comes on at 10%. When your tank hits that on your fresh tank, it'll fill to 90. You can put it in another mode called manual, which in that scenario you would have to go ahead and engage it if you want it to fill your fresh tank. The gray water bypass is a great option. What it does is opens the gray valve and allows your sink water, your shower water, your dishwasher water to flow directly out the hose and save room in your black tank. On the floor heat, you have 3 different zones. You have front, mid, and rear. These all go up by 10%, and you can also set them to a floor heat schedule to come on at a certain time and go off at a certain time every single day. This TV lift button is an override for the front TV that comes down above the windshield, and that's in the event that you want to run it from this area. You have multiple switches throughout the coach to run that TV up and down. You also have your vent fans, and you have a front and rear. One's in the front half bath and the other's in the rear bath. These are reversible. You can bring in air, you can exhaust air, and they do have a rain sense. That way if you have that enabled and you have it open and it starts raining, they will close. As we move down onto this screen, this is a secondary screen, but what it holds is a couple of things like the master lights on and off, and then you have your individual lights in this area. You have your pocket door here, which you can run these pneumatic pocket doors from here, and multiple switches throughout the coach. You have your fans, and you have your step cover, your awnings, and your front slide TV lift. Every zone of this coach has its own monitor that controls its own slide room zone. This screen right here controls the master shades. You can control day master or night master. And if you wanted to, you could control individual shades from this area as well. There's multiple pages to scroll through. So we're in the half bath now, which is where we have our overrides and our breakers. Starting at the top, we have the water pump bypass switch, water fill bypass switch, and the RVC reset. The water pump bypass and water fill bypass are in the event that the silver leaf controls have stopped working and you still need to turn your water pump on for usage or fill fresh water into the coach. You would just turn this on and it overrides the silver leaf system and allows you to water fill and turn the water pump on. The RVC reset is a 12-volt reset for the switches and the light panels. Anytime you lose functionality of like one operation on a switch, we highly suggest killing the RVC switch. When you do that, you will have to go to the front of the coach and turn the 12-volt system back on, and that will restore all of your switches. We do have a TV lift override. Once again, that is in the event that you lose silverleaf control and you still need to get your television that drops down above the windshield up. You can do that. It's hardwired in, and you have full control in the half bath. You see these two controls here are for the roof AC controls. All of your roof ACs are controlled through your silverleaf monitors. In the event that you have lost control, we still have these hardwired so that way that you can still have AC and climate control availability inside the coach. As we move down, you're going to see that we have very nicely and neatly labeled breaker panels that have everything labeled by number. For instance, we have inverter 1, inverter 2, cooktop, block heater, roof AC zones. But this is where you will find all of your breakers. Alright, so above the driver chair in the cabin, you're going to see three things here. You're going to see the wine guard over the air antenna, which you can turn on and search for channels and then program to your television for your local channels in whatever area you're at in the country. You have your HWH control panel that's for your jack leveling system. You have multiple options here. You have an auto level feature, which is what most people use. You click it and it runs one jack down at a time and tells you when you're fully leveled. Or you can run them individually if you're in a little bit of a trickier position on a hill. What I really wanted to point out was our HWH slide room control panel. And one thing that we do here at Foretravel is we use pneumatic bladder systems. And what it does is the bladder seals out the elements. And so when we run our slide rooms, it is a mixture of hydraulically ran rooms with pneumatics that seal them off. So when I turn this key on, this flashing light will need to go steady. What that tells me is that the bladder around the slide room has pulled down fully out of the way and the slide room is ready to be engaged. And as soon as that goes steady, I will run the slide room and explain the pump light. The pump light is reading the hydraulic system. So what we're looking for is when we start running this room, this red pump light will come on, and then we're going to wait until the pump light extinguishes to let off the switch. So I'm going to retract the passenger front slide room now, and you will see that the red pump light comes on, which indicates that the hydraulic fluid is moving and that the hydraulic pump is on. So as we speak, the passenger slide room is coming in. We'll wait for it to fully seat, and we'll look for the red pump light to extinguish. Once it has extinguished, I can let off that switch and turn the key off. And that is exactly how all of our slide room features work. Okay, now that we have the slide room in, I'm going to reverse track and I'm going to run the slide room out, and I'm going to explain the operation of our drop floor, which is on the passenger front slide room. So I turn the key back on. I wait for the flashing light to go solid, which indicates that I have the bladder fully deflated and ready to run. And then I will extend the slide room And what you will see is the drop floor is going to come up and fully seat, what gives us a true flat floor feel, which is something that at Foretravel we've done for many years, and it's one thing that's one of our key features of our interiors, is that we have no step-ups anywhere inside of our coach. Slide room is going out. And you will see the drop floor will start to come up and fully seat in place. And I will hold on to the switch while this is happening, and I will wait for the red hydraulic pump light switch on the control panel to extinguish. And just like that, it is ready, and I turn the key off, and that is all you have to do to run a slide room. So sitting in the passenger chair, the passenger does have certain controls. They have control of audio, shades, lighting, climate, and then they have this step cover that they can extend for while they're in travel, that they can put their feet on and have a little bit more comfortable of an area to travel. So the passenger console has several features. It has a wireless cell phone charger. They also have control over the sound, the music, climate, stepwell cover, lights, and shades. Above the passenger chair, we have our Starlink power supply and our Wi-Fi Ranger controller. Above the entry stairs, we have our Trimark programming switches, where you'll see it'll say key fob and keypad authorization code. We have integrated this so that you can change your keypad code on the door with ease, as well as if you wanted to change key fobs or you had a bad key fob, we can put it into programming mode easier. Right beside that is our Gerard awning controller. This one is removable. You can take it anywhere you want. You can put it outside in the entertainment center area, or you can leave it above the stairwell, but that runs our 2 large patio awnings. So at the kitchenette area, we have a couple of things to talk about as well. We have removable sink and induction cooktop covers. I took one off so that you could see the access and that you could put them back in place if you need a full working surface at the kitchen area. We have a Fisher-Paykel knock sensor for the dishwasher. And then we have an extension of the countertop that runs off of an electric switch right here. You can pull it out, have extra workspace, as well as storage. Alright, so at each slide room we have control panels. On these control panels, you're going to have things like lights, shades, or whatever is in that area that you need to control. For instance, we have the slide TV, which comes up. And so in each zone, you have your own functionality for what it needs to control. Currently we're in the Luxury Villa 7, and in this floor plan we do have a drop TV above the windshield. It is floor plan dependent. Some floor plans do not have this feature, but I wanted to show full operation of this drop TV. So in the Foretravel Presidential Series coach, we have 4 main apps that we use. The Silverleaf System Control app, the ITC Versa Control Lighting app, Vega Touch Mira, and the Mobile URC. So what we're going to start with is the System Control app. This is going to look familiar from our Silverleaf screen in the middle of the coach that we've already went over. But when I open up that app, I have full access to the same thing that we had in the center of the coach. So I have my controls over the AC, HVAC. I can look at my waste tanks. I can turn my water pumps on and off, my generator. It is exactly like what we have mid-coach. I can look at my batteries, my inverters, what they're doing. I can go to my generator. I can start and stop it. I can set my auto gen. I can go to my zones on my HVAC system, living room, kitchen, bedroom, bath, and I can change the temp in all zones. Go to my water screen. I can dump the coach, my black water. I can autofill the fresh water, and I can open the gray water bypass. I do have control of my floor heat, vent fans, and TV lift. If I get out of that app, I can go into my Versa Control ITC lighting. This app controls the lighting underneath the bus as well as in the ceiling on our infinity lights. You can do each zone individually or connect all zones and change colors depending on what you prefer. If I go to my Vega Touch Mira app, it will connect, and what that'll give me control over is lights and shades. So I'll have a master light switch, I'll have my day shades, my night shades, my battery disconnect for the 12-volt system, and my generator start and stop. I have an individual page for each individual light and a master light switch for the front, the rear, as well as the exterior lights. I can go and turn on my vent fan 1 or vent fan 2, or go directly to the shade screen and go through all of my shades and put them up individually or all at one time. The URC app stands for Universal Remote Control. That is what we use to run our AV systems. We have 3 zones on this coach, and that's a living room, patio, and bedroom. And for instance, if I wanted to trigger my living room TV, I would click on living room, and then I have 2 options, slide TV, or I have several, front TV, slide TV, and music. For what I would want to do is I would want to trigger the front TV, and I would turn on TV apps. What that'll do is it'll trigger my TV into the taskbar menu so that you could go to certain things like Netflix, Disney, Hulu, and then it is just a normal remote control screen from that point forward. If I want to go back out of that, I can go back to the living room and change zones. I could go to the patio TV, I could go to entertainment, and I could do the exact same thing on the outside television, all from my iPad. What's cool about the URC controller is that you can run it from your iPad or iPhone, and we also provide a universal remote control, which is an actual handheld remote that comes with every coach. One other thing is every coach comes with an iPad, and we set it up upon delivery. Alright guys, I'm currently in the ITC lighting app, and I wanted to display all the different light colors we have. Another cool feature is there's a bunch of presets and programming that you can do to make the lights strobe or change colors automatically. Okay, I'm in the Vega Touch Mira app, and I want to demonstrate how I can raise all the shades through the iPad. Alright, I'm back in the ITC lighting app, and I wanted to show you guys how the basement lighting, the undercarriage lighting changes as well. Here we are at the passenger's first compartment, and as you can see, we do have a refrigerator slash freezer. Either side can be freezer or refrigerator, and you can set temperature to whatever you would like. It is the only slide tray we have on the coach that is manual. And it just slides in and locks in place like so. We do have an extra outlet at the top of the compartment on the left side. Moving on to the passenger's second bay, you'll see we have a dual in, dual out electric slide tray. The switch is on the side of the door. And a couple of things we have in here that come with all of our coaches is we do provide extra box of tile just in case you have one break on the road and you need to have it replaced. We also have a bag that holds 2 extra chairs for if you have company or you want to sit out under your patio awning. And those come with every coach that leaves the factory. We also have a water spigot in the top left-hand corner, top side of this bay, which is meant for the pressure washer or whatever water needs you may have. But you can set the pressure washer out on both sides of the coach and run the hose all the way from the front to the rear on driver and passenger side. Moving on to the passenger's third bay, this is what I would consider our loose items in the basement that come with all of our coaches. One thing I didn't point out on this previous tray is these electric trays also have drop gates for ease of loading. And a couple of things that need to be pointed out here is we do provide the 30 amp to 50 amp reducer, a fire extinguisher, reducer sleeve for towing, a flare kit, an air line, and a water hose flush kit for flushing out the black tank. All coaches come with a Foretravel rug. Probably the most important thing in this bay is this Tire-On toolband kit. It's one of the main safety features we have on this coach is blowout prevention. It's on the front wheels, and anytime you're on the road and you need to have a tire changed out or have any types of tire issues, they're going to need this kit to pull the Tire-On band off the front wheels and replace the tire. I always suggest that all of our customers keep this with them at all times. When we go around to the driver's side, we'll talk about what's in the other side of that compartment. As we progress into the passenger fourth bay, there's some things we need to talk about here. Behind this cover panel is actually our water filter. We have 2 of them there, and we ship the water filters loose with all coaches. If you did a factory delivery at Foretravel, then we install those at that time. But if you're doing it at a dealership, this is something that they need to do at the time of delivery. We have an extra outlet in this basement as well. And if you look, we have all of our Silverleaf modules conveniently located on the back wall. One thing we do really well here at Foretravel is we label everything so that way if you're in a bind or you have any questions or call in to technical, we can point you in the right direction. For instance, everything's labeled, so if you had a tile heat problem, I might point you to the TM229 in the basement to come out here and maybe unplug and do some resets. But we have a way to point you in the right direction at any given time you're having any type of issues. On this wall, you have the Girard awning controllers. And then if I flip around to this side, you're going to see our Dirt Devil. We ship this coach with extra bags, and we'll go over that when we get inside and how the Dirt Devil vacuum system works. Behind this panel are labeled fuse blocks. It has wing nuts so you can access them and check them out if need be. Right here is going to be the 12-volt battery disconnect. It can run on manual or auto. So currently we run this coach on the auto side, so that way when you're inside the coach you can kill the battery disconnect on your screens. The VSS emergency parallel Same thing. It's in auto mode currently, and what that is for tying the house batteries to the engine batteries for ease of cranking. In the event that you were parked for 2 weeks, it definitely comes in handy because it pulls on all the power to crank your coach. In the back side of this compartment, we have a Mach 5 water pump, which is standard on all presidential realms. It has an accumulator tank, so that way it keeps the system pressurized. Right behind that, you're going to see the auxiliary air pump. What that system does is runs the auto air leveling, the slide room bladders, and the pocket doors that are pneumatic. That comes on as needed. Behind that is the hydraulic pump. Right beside that is going to be the aqua hot, and we'll go over the aqua hot as we approach the driver's side of the coach. On this side of the compartment here, we have two Xantrax inverters mounted on the wall. One thing you'll notice about our coach is everything's accessible. We put everything to where it's conveniently located to be worked on if need be, and anybody can access it at any time. As we approach the P5, you're going to see a nice little stainless package here that's labeled for all of the zones of the water systems throughout the coach. It is a mana block, and in the event that you had a leak on the kitchen side, you could not cancel your trip and go to the service department. You could actually turn this off at the block and continue on your trip and still have water at all your points that you need to have them. You can always drain the tank. This is the main drain here. And then if you're winterizing the coach, you may need to open the hot and cold lines to drain them completely as well. But at the end of the day, this right here was designed for ease of use for an everyday customer to basically shut off water if need be. Here we are at the outside entertainment center. You're going to see that we do have locks on the door for if you want to lock this. As I open it, you'll see we have a TV, a dedicated sound bar, and 2 outlets for whatever you may need them for. Cool thing about this is you can move the television in whatever direction you need it and sit out on the patio, enjoy some television, maybe a game. But this is something that we've been doing in the side of the slide room for some years now. We also have this strap here for ease of closing the door and locking it back out. So as we approach the rear of this coach on the passenger side, you're going to see an escape door. This is an additional safety feature that we offer on all models. It will be floor plan dependent on what side of the coach it's on. Could be driver rear or passenger rear. One thing you'll notice, there is no handle on the exterior of this door, only on the interior. If you remove this access panel that's on with a magnet, you can use this telescoping ladder to exit the coach in the case of an emergency. So now we are at the passenger rear kick-up, and there's a couple of things we need to touch on here. One is the def tank right here that runs on both sides of the coach. We do have dual fill on the def tank, driver and passenger side. One nice feature that Spartan incorporates is for emergency suspension. You can fill all of your airbags in the event that you need to get down the road in the case that you lose the electronic side for the airbag system. We have 2 chassis batteries here. We have the fuse block. We have the main bus fuse, which you can kill power to the entire coach. The Wabco air dryer, which is a yearly serviceable item. 1 fuel filter for the engine. And then the electronic block heater, which is currently not plugged in as it's not needed. But one common theme that you've seen so far going around the coach is that everything is designed for ease of access, for the average person to get into their basements, get into their bays, their kick-ups, and access the items they need to for diagnostics or changing out yearly service items. So here we are at the rear engine bay. When we redesigned the rear cap a few years ago, our main goal was to make sure everything was accessible. You'll notice that we have everything right at the forefront of this rear compartment. You're going to see that we have the coolant tank, the power steering reservoir, engine oil fill, engine oil check, Allison transmission fluid check. All of your belts are easily accessible for changing if need be. One of the best safety features we have on this coach is definitely the fog maker system. It is a fire suppression system. In the event that you have an engine fire or any type of thermal event in the rear compartment, we have these nozzles that run across the top of this bay. And they will bust off in the event that you have a thermal event and put suppression fluid down on the engine compartment. As we approach right here, this is where the air filter is located. And one other cool feature we have on the rear of this coach is that we have an air line hookup here in case you need to air up tires, tubes, or whatever you may need to do on the road. We do have a switched light for nighttime usage. And then we have an air minder right here that will remind you when you need to change your air filter. So here we are at the D5 bay. The first thing you're going to notice is the stainless steel panel and the laser etched styling with the Foretravel Motorcoach emblems. You're going to see that it does have an outdoor wash station and then a tank flush, which is right here where you can hook in your water hose to flush the black tank. We do have a monitor here which we'll go over shortly. As I open this bay up, you're going to see that we do have our dump hose hidden. And right in the floor is a drop floor hatch, and it does have a cutout circle to wrap around this hose as to be a rodent deterrent. Inside the bay, there's a couple things to point out. We got the black tank override and the gray water bypass override. Of course, this coach can be dumped from inside the coach. You can add fresh water from inside the coach, but we do like to have these things in the event that the silverless system's given any issues, that you can still dump your tanks, fill your tanks, do whatever you need to operate the motorhome. Right above it is a UV light switch. What that system is it's a light bulb system that goes in the top of the black tank that creates ozone and sanitizes the tanks. That essentially makes this a chemical-free coach for your black tank. As we approach back up here, there's a couple of cool functions we have on the outside. You can see your fresh tank, your black tank, your house and chassis batteries, your legs of power, what they're doing currently, AC power standalone, DC power standalone, and then the water system, which also shows your tanks. But you can turn your water pump on here, you can fill the freshwater tank, and you can drop the waste from right here, conveniently located in your utility bay. In this bay, we have our shoreline reel, our water hose reel. Both of these are fully electric. We have a winterization port here in the event that you need to winterize your coach. We have a cable hookup. A lot of campgrounds throughout America have free cable, so we still include this currently. When you look here, we have an AquaHot 600 series, which is standard on all presidentials. We have its fuel filter and its coolant reservoir tank conveniently located for access for when you're having your annual maintenance or if you need to add coolant on the fly. Right above the AquaHot is an AquaHot reporter. It's going to show you the status of the AquaHot, what it's doing, its electric side, its burner side, the coolant level, the coolant temp. You do not need to come down to this basement to turn on the AquaHot, as inside the coach you have multiple ways and places to turn it on. This would be for diagnostics, or in the event that the Silverleaf system was acting up, you could come down here and still turn on your AquaHot independently. Right here on the wall is going to be your Surge Guard relay box. That is going to bring the power in and make it usable for the coach. And in the event that you had a power surge, it should take the hit and protect the coach from any surging. Right underneath that is our hydraulic reservoir and hydraulic pump. The hydraulic pump and reservoir on this motorhome are used for multiple things. The jack systems, the slide rooms, the generator slide tray, and all of that fluid comes right back here into the overflow. So we're at the passenger fourth bay. A couple things you're going to notice is it is the dual in, dual out tray that we talked about before on the passenger side of the coach. We do have a chassis care kit that comes with the belts and filters in the event you need to change those on the road, and then it has the vacuum accessory kit. As we approach this side, this is the driver third bay. It is a dual in, dual out tray. We've already talked about the chair set that comes with it. But one thing I want to touch on is the Blue Max pressure washer that's mounted on the sidewall. This comes off on these clips, and you can set it directly outside the coach on both sides of the motorhome and hook your water in to the spigot here, and the hose extends from front to back on the coach so that you can wash your coach in the campground. To help power the coach, we have 8 4D gel cell batteries conveniently located in the D2 compartment for ease of access. So here we are at the D1 compartment, and you'll see that we do have a covered access panel, that there is breakers behind this panel, a few air lines, but the main thing I wanted to point out is that we do have a switch for the generator slide tray at the top side, and it runs this generator in and out. And as we approach the generator, you'll notice an Onan 12.5 powered. We do have an airline connection in the top side of this compartment. On the left side of the generator, we do have the windshield wiper fluid reservoir. And one cool feature is this lockout. What this lockout is for is in the event that the executive step, either A, stops working, we lose power, whatever the case may be, you can unlock that and still move this step in manually and lock it back out. And then for travel, you just do it the opposite, unlock it, move it in, and lock it back out. With continuing Foretravel's commitment to safety, I want to point out a couple of key features on the front of the coach. We have the on-guard collision mitigation system. As we go up, we have our Mobileye lane departure. We have our rain sense wipers. And at the top side, we have our 360 bird's eye camera. And placed on all sides of the coach is our Delta Mobile blind spot sensors. Thanks for watching. We hope this video has been helpful and informative. At Foretravel, we're committed to creating more content to support and guide our owners. If you have questions or want information tailored to your specific motor coach, don't hesitate to reach out to our team. We're here for you.